Hin Leong is one of the most powerful names in the world of oil trading, or at least it was, owned by Singapore billionaire Lim Ung-kwin. In 1963, at the age of 20, with nothing but a single truck that used to deliver diesel to fishermen, Hin Leong became one of Singapore's largest independent oil traders. But how did the company go from supplying fuel to all the vessels that came into Singapore ports to going bankrupt? Let's find out. But before we continue, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be the first to be notified of new behind the business videos that we post every week. Let's begin. Lim Ung-kwin, or O.K Lim as he was better known as, an immigrant from China who came to Singapore in the 1950s. He started Hin Leong as a one-man, one-truck business, where he was the only person running all operations. The business initially worked on a model where he would buy fuel, diesel, and oil in bulk, divide it into smaller quantities, and then sell it to taxi, ship, and bus companies to generate profit. And he did not know it at the time, but that was the genesis of the Hin Leong that we know today, the oil trading empire. As the economic boom ensued, the market widened, and suddenly there was a huge demand for oil. Naturally, Hin Leong's business expanded, and suddenly O.K Lim had a problem on his hands: manpower. Unable to keep up with the demand as a one-man operation, he soon reinvested what he had previously made and bought more trucks and had more people work under him. That really paid off, as within only a few years his business started functioning as a fully integrated supply system, which included not only trucks but also ships, allowing him to buy and sell fuel all over the region. When the 1960s came rolling around, Singapore started developing itself as a trading hub for the region. Because of its geographic location, tons of ships were coming in and out of the country using Singapore's port to stop over. And who was at the center of it all? Hin Leong, of course. This really cemented the Hin Leong name in the oil trading and supply industry. And O.K Lim built his fleet of tank trucks in Singapore over the years and incorporated Hin Leong in 1973 as an oil trading company, followed by Ocean Tankers in 1978 as a ship chartering and management company, creating his own rags to riches story. Now, it's important to understand that Asia's oil market is extremely secretive, so it's pretty difficult to find out the supply and demand at any given moment, which proved to be a hurdle for traders. But this is where O.K Lim stood out in the market. He used all the connections he had built in the industry over the years and dug deep into his resources to acquire this data and use it to his advantage. This way, he always knew what was happening in the market, making it easier for him to make decisions that would allow Hin Leong to dominate the market. O.K Lim's modus operandi was to purchase enough stock from the market, such that it is able to cause a disruption, pushing the prices higher. Then, Hin Leong will release the stockpile and sell their product to other merchants and companies for profit. For the most part of Hin Leong's history, this worked well in his favor. Hin Leong's success continued on for decades, making O.K Lim one of Singapore's richest and most successful business owners. Hin Leong's bunkering arm was Singapore's third largest bunker supplier in 2019, accounting for 10% of local bunker sales, and was a key supplier to countries like Indonesia and Myanmar in Southeast Asia. However, in 2020, a storm was brewing, and it wasn't going to be pretty. There was huge confusion as major financial institutions started to pull financing and credit lines away from Hin Leong, and you definitely could not trade without financing. This came as quite a surprise, as there were really no signs that Hin Leong was performing underwhelmingly. The truth is that the pandemic hit the oil industry pretty hard, not just in Singapore but also internationally. As a result, oil was trading at record-breakingly low prices. For the first time in history, oil was trading at negative $40 per barrel. In April 2020, Hin Leong was charged with forgery for the purpose of cheating after a full-blown investigation was launched into the company's business operations. According to the charges, O.K Lim had instigated a Hin Leong employee to forge a document that looked like it was issued by UT Singapore Services, which operates the Lim family's Universal Terminal Tank Farm, stating that Hin Leong had transferred more than 1 million barrels of gas oil to China Aviation Oil. Now, this forged document was used to secure more than $77 million in trade financing from a financial institution, which meant that the company essentially scammed this institution for money. And if that wasn't enough, 2 weeks later, O.K. Kim and his children were sued for $3.5 billion because of Lim's outstanding debts. Another $90 million were recovered from the dividends that the Lim family, which includes his 2 children, Evan Lim Chi Meng and Lim Hui Ching, reportedly paid themselves in previous years out of Hin Leong's disputed profits, despite their company's apparent losses. All of this went on to reveal the rot that has been growing inside of Hin Leong, and that the company had actually hidden $800 million in losses. Why would O.K. Lim do such a thing? Well, when oil prices started to crash, Hin Leong's lenders got worried and started demanding repayment of the loans. In order to keep up the repayments, it had to seem as if Hin Leong had no financial troubles and are able to pay back the loans. To make matters worse, it was also revealed that he had sold a huge part of the company's oil inventories that were supposedly pledged to banks as collateral, and used the cash as general funds, even though it was the subject of inventory financing agreements with banks. This just meant that Hin Leong had actually not made any profits for a couple of years, and the COVID-19 pandemic was just the trigger that exposed the rust beneath the metal. Lim's son clarified that he did not know the reason behind all of these losses. All he knew was that his father had asked for them to be omitted from the company's financial statements over the years, to make sure that their company didn't seem as if they were falling behind in the game. This scandal has sent massive shockwaves throughout Asia's trading industry. Local oil prices crashed from above $70 a barrel in early January to below $20 in April, as lockdowns and other government measures to restrict the spread of coronavirus slashed global demand by as much as a third. And that's when Hin Leong filed for bankruptcy. The company told its creditors that it only had $141 million worth of oil products in its inventory, as compared to the $1.28 billion it declared in its audited statement in October 2019. Hin Leong had only $50 million in cash as of April 2020, compared with $461 million in October 2019. Since the scandal has come out, O.K. Lim has officially resigned from all of the company's executive roles. Not just that, but he also resigned from Hin Leong's sister companies, the Jihe Group, along with stepping down as the managing director of Ocean Tankers. As a result of Hin Leong's unexpected downfall, the entire oil industry in Asia is going through a major restructuring. Because banks have had to go through major losses worth hundreds of millions of dollars, the impact of all this is now flowing down to smaller trading companies that are now unable to receive credit lines and fundings. Even relatively larger companies are also receiving shrunken credit lines. All of this is because more than 20 banks are now fighting to recover billions of dollars in loans that they gave to Hin Leong. Several applications have been made to freeze the company's assets, along with O.K. Lim's personal shares and funds. The downfall of Hin Leong, one of the world's most powerful forces in oil trading, just goes to show how volatile the oil industry currently is. The rise and fall of Hin Leong is one of the world's most famous rags to riches stories gone wrong. Right from the start, O.K. Lim was a businessman who had a huge risk appetite. He was always willing to bet big, and most of the time, it seemed to work. However, this time around, experts believe that the risk he took was too big, resulting in the loss of his entire empire. Was O.K. Lim's risk appetite too big? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be the first to be notified of new behind the business videos we post every week. Be inspired, and we will see you in the next one. Since you made it all the way to this point, here are 2 more videos that we know you are going to love. Go on, click on it. You know you want to.